I want to use this occasion to extend the condolences of the Ugandans and of myself again to Your Excellency on the death of our elder and comrade freedom fighter, Mzee Robert Mugabe. Mzee Mugabe made a historic contribution to the liberation of Zimbabwe. He spent 10 years in prison on account of that. I ask all of you to stand for 1 minute to remember his contribution. Mwena muyimirire tujjukire Mzee Mugabe. May his soul rest in eternal peace. The 1.3 billion people of Africa are indeed relatives. Contrary to the position of the reactionaries, whose spectacles never see the similarities or linkages among the African people, the NRM, right from the beginning as a student movement, saw the deep linkages and similarities among the African people. In 1966, when I put all my three choices for further studies at the University of Dar es Salaam, I was not just interested in education. If it was education, there was the University of Makerere. Why then Dar es Salaam? We were looking for Undugu, brotherhood. That's why we went to Dar es Salaam. When in 1968, I led a solidarity student group to the liberated areas of Mozambique in Cabo Delgado province, what were we after? Undugu, brotherhood. Yes, there are many tribes and clans in Africa. However, all these tribes and clans, using linguistic classification, are only in 4 clusters. And these clusters are the Niger Congo, which includes the Bantu dialects, and the Kwa group of languages of West Africa. The Nilo-Saharan, which includes the Kushite groups like the Oromo of Ethiopia, the Nubians of Sudan and Egypt, our Nilotics, and the Nilo-Hamitic. Number 3, the Afro-Asiatic, meaning Arabic, Tigrinya, and Amharic. And then number 4, the Khoisan groups of Southern Africa. Norecho, bwebagamba nti Abafrika banjawulo balina amawanga mangi, yes. Balina amawanga mangi, balina ebika bingi, naye byonna bifaanagana oba bikwatagana. Ekyo mulina okukimanya ekyo. Abatalina gaalibindi eziraba ekyo batuviire bagende awalala. Since 1986, however, the patriotic line of the NRM of patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy gained the upper hand. That is how Uganda has been able to build a strong national army for the first time in the last 500 years. I really marvel at Africans when you hear them talking of Africa as if we started with colonialism. Uganda was here even before colonialism. We know everything that was happening here with our tribal chiefs and all that. I don't have time to go into that story, but for the last 500 years, even before colonialism, this area was in a lot of turmoil. caused first by the tribal chiefs, then later on by the slave traders, then later on by the colonialists, and then by these bad regimes which came after independence. Therefore, this army which you see here, which we were able to build, has been able to bring peace to this part of Uganda, of Africa, for the first time in 500 years. The trouble did not start with the colonialists. Even before, our chiefs were making a lot of mistakes. That is how Uganda has been able to build a strong national army for the first time in the last 500 years, achieve economic recovery, and achieve an annual rate of growth of 6.1% per annum for the last 33 years, in spite of the strategic bottlenecks that were in place, and in spite of our population growing from 14 million people in 1986 to 42 million people now. We have been achieving these relatively high rates of growth in spite of lack of electricity, high costs, high transport costs from the ocean, where we spend $3,456 per 40-foot container by road, instead of spending $1,800 per the same container by rail. And also, in spite of the high cost of money, i.e. the interest rates of the exploitative and economy distorting banks. Of course, the cost of labor has been low. We are able to achieve economic recovery and growth, these strategic bottlenecks notwithstanding, because some of the sectors do not need electricity much. I put my foot down and insisted on putting more money in transport and electricity. That is how we now have good tarmac roads from north to south of the country, from one corner of Uganda to another corner. North to south, east to west, northwest to southeast, north to southwest. We are now also going to start on the road to the northeast. That is Moroto, Kotido, Kabong, Chidepo, South Sudan border. The road from Oraba on the border with South Sudan to Bunagana Chanika on the Rwanda-Congo borders in the north-southwesterly direction is 647 miles. That is 1,042 kilometers. The one from Chidepo Valley to Bunagana will be 655 miles via Kampala. Even your road here, from Mbare, from Nakaloke, all the way to Kapchorwa had grown old. We have now done it, as you can see. We shall also continue up to Kapchorwa. I think they stopped somewhere. The section to Kapchorwa is not yet done. But we are also doing the one from Kapchorwa to Swam. Abanyankole balnorugero rugamba nti galiyembibo gashekere kiteme. Omuntu atalengere wala bwabate aterese ensigo bwakwatibwa enjala ajjayo ensigo n'azifumba n'azirya. Kati essaawa y'okusiga bw'etuuka amannyo agali ensigo gasekera endimiro kubanga tegalina kyakuteekamu. The proverb of one of the groups here says, a man who doesn't see far, when he's too hungry, he cooks the seeds and eats them. And when the time for planting comes, the teeth which ate the seeds smile at the garden because they have nothing to plant. Now that we have a bit of money, provided we budget properly, emphasizing production ahead of consumption, esente tulina okuziteeka mu bintu ebizaala okusooka, si kulya buli, is that we concentrate on the 3 cost pushers: transport, electricity, and the cost of money. The answers for these cost pushers are cargo and even passengers to be transported by high-speed trains. 2, to provide adequate and cheap electricity for manufacturing and some aspects of services. And 3, Uganda Development Bank, capitalized by government, providing low-interest loans for manufacturing, hotels, tourism assets, and internal trade for locally manufactured goods. On the side of agriculture, we need to address the issue of irrigation so as to stabilize agricultural production and utilize our comparative advantage of abundant fresh water. We are also concentrating on tarmacking the roads leading to the oil areas to make it possible for the pipeline to be constructed.